this kind of magic. You take a tissue and you start to use your force to cut it, for example, it will not be cutted. It becomes tougher. This knowledge will help to synthesize polymers, big polymers like tires with special properties. Our job is to create partnerships between researchers from Kazakhstan and international researchers to build a consortium for grants.
Imagine driving down the road when a sudden, unsettling sound interrupts your journey. You pull over and discover a damaged tire. Now you're stuck figuring out how to repair or replace it entirely. But what if tires could heal themselves and grow even stronger after damage? All of these happening on its own, completely autonomously. Kazakhstani scientist Aliya Sembayeva has conducted groundbreaking research that brings this idea closer to reality. She explored molecules with unique properties that form a polymer capable of reacting to damage in an extraordinary way. Instead of breaking, it becomes stronger. Tires that repair themselves after a puncture or clothing that resists tearing under friction. Aliya Sembayeva's work paves the way for a future where materials redefine strength and resilience.
Polymer mechanochemistry in general is a very interesting topic when you combine different disciplines, not only chemistry, but also engineering, physics. When you stretch it or when you start to break mechanochemical property, you don't know how much force you can use or how you can control this force. And my research was aiming to study big cycles. So when you open them, when you apply force and these molecules start to open, they bring new knowledge in terms of building the model, bigger model, which you can further use to study how the force can affect molecules. When we have protective clothes, for example, helmet or some military, let's say, gadgets, they have special properties. So when you have a bullet, and when this bullet, for example, or certain force, yes, when you wear your helmet and you feel this force, the tissue or the product itself becomes, for example, changes condition from solid to liquid, or from liquid to solid. And it's really interesting to study how this happens or how you can control. Yes, you understand fundamental properties. For example, when the bullet hits like military, some gadget, yes, it uses certain forces, physical forces to change the condition from solid to liquid. And when this force is gone, this product again becomes solid. But it's hard to see it, it's hard to control it, and you have a lot of questions. That's why I think it was one of the motivation or example or case which inspired to study these projects.
The research team collaborated with one of the world's leading tire manufacturers on this project. The company is actively exploring ways to create wheels from durable, long-lasting materials, working hand-in-hand with scientists to achieve this goal. Aliya Sembayeva, with her deep expertise in organic chemistry, played a key role in the project. She presented significant findings on molecules that can adapt to external forces. These insights helped guide future developments and bring the vision of unbreakable tires closer to reality. This partnership shows how scientific research and industrial challenges come together to drive meaningful progress in manufacturing.
This project is is very fundamental, but this knowledge will help to synthesize polymers, big polymers like tires with special properties. Polymer mechanochemistry have interesting properties. So, for example, when you take a tissue and you start to use your force to cut it, for example, it will not be cutted. So, using this force, it becomes tougher. It's not only about synthesis, you also need to think how to attach the polymer, how to measure the force applied to this big molecule, how to analyze these results to use in practice. Chemistry is kind of magic. When you work in the lab, when you see how you make new products, how reactions are going, and that you are producing new chemicals, new products, you bring new knowledge. It is a magic. I was motivated by different Nobel laureates, for sure, how their research, disruptive research, let's say, changes the whole concept of different areas in chemistry.
Here is an organic chemistry laboratory, and this is key to produce all kind of new products that we need and we use in our daily lives. So here at the university, we're working on new materials. We're working from graphene for flexible screens for telephones, or biomaterials for the treatment of diseases, or even advanced materials that we can use for solar cells. Everything starts with organic materials, and everything starts in labs like this, where basically we can reproduce them, we can actually compile them and end up with new materials with new properties for everyday life. So chemistry is very important in our society, and it's going to be even more in a country like Kazakhstan with so many natural resources, and we need to use those natural resources to convert them into products of high value so we can actually get more revenue for the country. And she did very well, like most of our students, and she now is heading the interface between chemistry and science and the society through liaising with industry.
From high school, I started to fascinate by chemistry. I did my bachelor degree in chemistry. I did my master degree by research in the UK. It is kind of magic when you are working on different syntheses, when you have different reactions, when you have different colors of these reactions. I don't have scientists in my family. They are in the economist area. But definitely my family supports all my decisions. They are very supportive. They were supportive of myself choosing chemistry, of going abroad. So thanks to their support, I got my PhD. I like playing tennis. I like going to yoga. I usually play twice a week tennis, and for yoga I usually go on Saturday and Sunday.
Aliya Sembayeva has shared the results of her research in organic chemistry through publications in highly cited scientific journals. While she recognizes the importance of these publications, she believes they are no longer enough. Aliya is passionate about making science more accessible to society, which is why she emphasizes the value of scientists sharing their discoveries on social media. This approach helps popularize science, highlight the significance of research, and inspire young people to follow this path. With over a decade of experience in science, Aliya has gained valuable insights that she sees as essential to share with others.
Definitely there were moments when I wanted to leave science, when you want to leave labs because you have a lot of failures and you are tired of these failures. When I wanted to leave my master degree, so I had to finish my last step to get the model product. but like, I don't know, about 3 months I couldn't get this product. I tried about 50 different conditions and I couldn't get it. And you lose your motivation, you don't know what to do, because in the lab you are alone with your research project. Definitely you have your supervisor who helps you, but you have to do this work alone. And after, I don't know, it was maybe 60 trial, and still I couldn't get this product. And then my supervisor told me, if you are a chemist, organic chemist, you have to be ready to try at least 200 different conditions to get your intermediate, to be one step ahead during your total synthesis. And like maybe on the 61st trial, I could get this product.
After achieving significant success in scientific research, Aliya Sembayeva has shifted her focus to scientific management. During her studies, she took her first steps in this field by founding the Association of Kazakhstani PhD students in the UK. This association united around 150 students and graduates, providing a platform for sharing experiences and supporting young researchers.
So this association of PhD students from Kazakhstan in the UK was created in 2017. Aliya was the leading person of this association. It was a bit kind of difficult period for all of us who were enrolled in PhD programs across the UK universities because it's demanding, because sometimes it's quite difficult to finish your project on time. So this association started just an informal platform to discuss, to meet people with more or less the same experience, to discuss certain issues that you may all have, and then later it grew into a bit more formal platform where we get together to discuss some of the issues, share opinions, organize public events, organize conferences, and so on. Every year we have lots of people approaching us, asking about our experience in studying different UK universities. And then the first thing we do is that we send them to our peers from the same association who have the same experience from the same university, right? Or sometimes we get requests from different organizations, state agencies, international organizations, international other NGOs, non-government organizations about, when they need a kind of expert in certain fields for their project, let's say. And then what we do, we just text our association if there is anyone who has the same experience, who wants to contribute in the project. She started this association as a volunteer project, and she ran this association for several years as a volunteer project, right? So that means, I think, that tells a lot about how much Aliya probably cares about helping others, bringing people together, discussing, contributing to society, paying back to society and the government.
С Алией Сембаевой мы познакомились в период пандемии в 2020 году, когда я
I met Aliya Sembayeva during the pandemic in 2020 when I was heading the Committee on Science.
молодыми учеными, Совета молодых ученых университета.
At that time, we were actively working with young scientists, the Council of Young Scientists, and various public organizations aimed at developing science and supporting young researchers.
В числе самых активных таких объединений была Британская ассоциация PhD-докторов, которую возглавляла Алия Сембаева, и они постоянно обращались.
I must note that one of the most active associations was the British PhD Association, led by Aliya Sembayeva. They frequently approached the Ministry and Science Committee with various proposals for improving legislation, enhancing the science development, refining the state of scientific and technical expertise system, increasing the transparency and fairness of budget funding distribution, addressing the role of young scientists, advocating for the adoption of a new law, and introducing tax and other incentives for commercialized projects.
По необходимости введения налоговых и других преференций для коммерциализируемых проектов. Многие из ее предложений тогда...
Many of the proposals at the time formed the basis of government decrees and contributed significantly to improving the overall processes for the development of Kazakhstani science.
Совершенствование вообще всех процессов в развитии казахстанской науки. Она объединила молодых казахстанцев.
She united young people from Kazakhstan who had received an excellent education and were at the same time motivated and dedicated to serving their country. and contributing to the development of science. The members of this association not only know what high standards look like, but are also determined to bring them to life in our country.
Они стремятся эти высокие стандарты реализовать и в нашей стране.
Aliya Sembayeva is currently managing scientific projects in Kazakhstan. At the Science Fund, she oversees initiatives aimed at supporting young researchers and ensuring transparency in the allocation of budget funding. Among her key projects are the introduction of tax incentives for the commercialization of scientific developments and strengthening collaboration with international organizations.
I work directly with the international programs like Horizon Europe, like other international programs in the EU, like organizations DFG, who also provide grants. Our job is to create partnerships between researchers from Kazakhstan and international researchers to build a consortium for grants. Young researchers are a key in Kazakhstani scientific system. And definitely we support them, and there are special policy instruments. For example, when experienced researcher wants to apply for grant, he or she must have in a team at least 40% of the team young researchers. We want to develop partnerships in all areas. For example, from the EU perspective, we have agreements in green technology, in rare earth metals, in agriculture, and we put these areas as priority areas.
В настоящее время Фонд науки реализует проект в рамках программы целевого финансирования.
The Science Fund is currently running a project under a targeted funding program aimed at improving the regulatory framework for commercializing scientific research.
Политики, методик, регуляторик. При этом основная
This project includes developing policies, methodologies, and regulations. The research team is primarily made up of young scientists. Aliya Sembayeva plays a key role in managing the project, applying the extensive experience she gained during her PhD studies in the UK. The Science Fund acts as Kazakhstan's national coordination center for the European Union's framework programs, including Horizon Europe.
Этот опыт позволяет изучить и применить успешную часть опыта Европейского Союза в Казахстане.
This position allows Kazakhstan to explore and adopt successful EU practices while tailoring their regulations and mechanisms to local needs. A comprehensive set of policies will be developed covering intellectual property management, knowledge sharing, copyright transfer, and intellectual property protection. These policies will be tailored either to specific institutions or customized for individual researchers.
Каждого ученого.
When we compare our science 10 years ago and now, definitely our science is developing. We have more funding, we have sustainable funding for science, for commercialization. We have increased number of researchers. We have more PhDs with local degree, with international degree. Infrastructure is developing. We have more types of grants, for example, like for technoparks, for mega grants, with bigger amount of money. And hopefully science will be financed further and will be more financed further to develop. We need to focus on international partnerships so that our researchers could work with their international peers and their results could be scaled at the global level.
For science to make a real impact, it takes more than just ideas and research. It needs precise and effective management. How can the right conditions for scientists be created? How should resources be allocated? Which projects deserve support? These are questions that demand accuracy, strategic thinking, and a clear understanding of the process. Aliya Sembayeva is the face of Kazakhstani science. She's building bridges between researchers, the government, international organizations, and businesses. Her scientific expertise helps create effective management systems and share an ecosystem in Kazakhstan where scientific ideas are turned into practical technologies.